What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and we are truly watching something spectacularly sad in a way, but also amazing in a way, happen right before our eyes. As yesterday I reported that Regal Cinemas, which is I think the second largest theater chain in the world, maybe probably not including China. China probably has some localized whatever, but deciding to throw in the towel for 2020. The next question became pretty obviously that it was time for AMC to act. And AMC theaters, which are the ones in my immediate area, have been just brutalized by the lockdown. They're hemorrhaging cash, and more news came out yesterday about it. Now, we're going to get into that after a quick word from our sponsor, me. It's me. I'm the sponsor. And all I want to do is remind you that I have a thriving Discord community I'd like you to join. I have a strong presence on Twitter Alternative Parlor. You can find me on Twitter, and you can join my subreddit. I'd love to see you on all 4 platforms. Links are in the description of this video. You can also support the channel by clicking that join button down below, becoming a member here on YouTube, or signing up at my Subscribe Star, which is also linked in the description below. Both forms of support go miles to support people like my wonderful editor, Sean. Or my wonderful thumbnail creator, Ben. You don't have to do these things or join these communities, but it would be neat if you did. Now let's get on with the video. Definitely would love to see you on the Reddit, on Discord, on Twitter, or Parler. And if you want to help for the drive to 1 million subscribers, subscribe right now. We have a good chance of making it by Christmas. Now, this was reported just a few days ago. AMC Theaters' credit rating downgraded again by S&P Global. Oh, AMC stock falls 10% as rival Cineworld closes movie theaters. This was yesterday. Shares of AMC Entertainment fell 10% in morning trading. Rival Cineworld, which owns Regal Cinemas, said it would close its UK and US theaters after the newest James Bond film pushed its release date again. And we also saw yesterday the Batman and Dune both delay. It doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of immediate bounce back. You know, I think theaters, you know, they've got hundreds of millions of dollars invested. It's cheaper for them to delay it than it would be to release it and lose $200 million. So that's what everyone's doing. Everyone's panicking and delaying everything. And I think the video on demand experiment from Mulan didn't end well for Disney. They lost hundreds of millions of dollars on Mulan, so no one else wants to try that either. Although I would have been inclined to pay for Tenet. You know, I think the audience for VODs are probably a little bit older. People like myself who will pay $30 for a movie if they really want to see it. And I wasn't going to support Disney. So it sucks that that seemed to be so bad that it scared everyone away. Cineworld owns Regal Cinemas. A stoppage follows Friday's announcement that James Bond's latest film will be pushed to April 2021. In the UK, the Odeon Cinema chain, which is backed by AMC, is shuttering a quarter of its locations this week and operating those theaters only on weekends. Warner Brothers' Tenet faltered at the domestic box office, while other studios have chosen to move their big movies to video on demand or streaming services. In the United States, Variety reported Saturday that there are rumblings that Disney's Soul, produced by Pixar Animations, could be moved to Disney+. On the heels of the news, Loop Capital Markets revised estimates for the domestic box office. Analyst Alan Gould wrote in a note Monday that ticket sales are expected to plunge 85% in the fourth quarter, a much steeper decline than its prior forecast of just being down 25%. The third quarter box office is expected to drop by an additional 10% from the firm's forecast. We also question if the weakness will bleed into 2021. Of course it will. Of course it will. AMC stock, which regular market value of $460 million, has plunged 41% so far this year. This on the back of AMC theaters is expected to run out of money in just 6 months. Now, look, this is a tough one for me because screw Hollywood, right? But my heart goes out to the, tens of thousands of movie workers, employees out there that have lost their jobs and have spent the last 6 or 8 months probably on unemployment too, with no real idea of whether or not they were going to get back to work anytime soon. So, while it's fun to laugh at Hollywood, it sucks for those workers. I said in a different video that a lot of my friends when I was young worked in movie theaters. I'm sure that's no different today. Another day, another bit of very bad news for the movie business. AMC Theaters, the largest theater chain in the U.S., is now expected to run out of money within 6 months. Even though the chain has been able to reopen many of its locations in recent weeks to coincide with the releases of the New Mutants and Tenet, its financial outlook is dire, and barring radical change, default is expected. The information comes from S&P Global, who recently reduced its credit rating for AMC Theaters. AMC will restructure its debt to avoid bankruptcy and attempting to raise cash to stay afloat. Even so, S&P believes at this rate, which the company is burning through cash, is untenable. Here's what they had to say, quote, "Given our expectations for a high rate of cash burn, we believe the company will run out of liquidity cash within the next 6 months unless it's able to raise additional capital, which we view as unlikely as attendance levels materially improve. AMC is saddled with tremendous debt, said to be in the $5 billion range. As such, raising more capital, especially when the outlook of the business isn't particularly great, does feel unlikely. Without cash infusion or additional restructuring, the money will dry up. Tenet failed to deliver at the box office, which forced another major blockbusters like Black Widow to push into 2021, which theaters rely on these big movies to put meat in the seats. As such, it's not expected that movie theater attendance will improve much before the end of the year. There does not seem to be much hope for AMC as it stands. And, AMC in particular, I couldn't care less about going belly up given they are 49.5% owned by China. If China wants to maintain their control over media in the United States, well, then they could just inject a couple $1 billion into AMC, which is likely to happen. What they'll probably do is they'll end up 100% owned by China at this rate. Given the attendance currently, it is expected that many movie theaters are losing money by being open. Amazingly, AMC may actually be losing more money by having its locations open right now. That illustrates the truly bleak situation that the exhibition side of the movie business finds itself in right now. S&P further expresses their negative outlook is based on the view that default is all but inevitable. That's like non-payment of your loans. The negative outlook reflects our view that a default, distressed exchange, or redemption appears to be inevitable within 6 months, absent of unanticipated significantly favorable changes in the issuer's circumstances. And that's not going to happen. So what you're stuck in here is a death spiral, essentially. Hollywood keeps wanting to delay these films because nobody's going to see them. But by the time they come out, the theater business will be all but gone. Now, will there always be movie theaters? Yes, of course. But you're going to see major restructures regardless. You're going to see a lot of, first of all, small town cinemas are dead, right? They pretty much already were. But in a lot of small town America, these cinemas are just, they're done, right? They're probably not coming back after this. Then you look at the mid-level. In the Midwest, we have Marcus Cinemas. They may have 15 theaters or something like that. They're probably next on the chopping block. They don't have big Chinese money backing them. And then you have AMC. So if AMC is struggling this bad, local theaters have to be absolutely devastated. Mid-level theater chains have to be just on life support right now. And, by the time Hollywood gets off their rear to release anything, there's not going to be anywhere to see it. And they're too busy with their handout to the government demanding taxpayer money to take a minute to try and save these theaters. They're going to have to invest money. Maybe Disney, they could invest some money, although Disney is hemorrhaging cash too. This is going to lead to a major change in Hollywood. Less theaters, less movies. Hopefully that means a refocus on quality, because they're going to have to focus on making sure that they put out good movies, because they can't afford a flop, which probably ultimately is good for the consumers. My heart does go out to the thousands, tens of thousands of theater workers out there, though. You have nothing to do with my dislike of Hollywood. You have nothing to do with China owning AMC. You are an unfortunate, piece of collateral damage, and I take no joy in you losing your jobs. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.